It's lights out of the race to give MotoGP here in Montmello. Marco Bezzecchi plucked his launch on the factory Aprilia, and the front row, it's Alex Marquez that leads the field down into the first corner. Marc trying to get aggressive on his inside in the braking zone for turn one. Acosta immediately through on Quartararo up into third place. Alex goes around the outside of Marc, almost going through two. They lean on each other, don't they, the brothers? But it's Marc that has the early advantage.
Yeah, the damage for Marco Bezzecchi wasn't too severe. He's still in 11th place. Morbidelli yet again having a shocking. Like yesterday, he's back in 10th now.
Go into turn 10, tricky braking zone this on the early laps when the field is still bunched up together. Marc leads Alex. That was where Alex across crashed out of the lead in the sprint here yesterday.
Oh, that's Marini side by side with Bastianini on the KTM. Bastianini up into 5th place now, so Marini, after his initial early start, is now starting to fall back to where he started again. Bastianini so good on his tyres and will hope to be in a good position later on.
Yeah, the beast might be one to watch in the latter stages of this Grand Prix. He ain't called the tyre whisperer for nothing, is he? And now we know how good he is on well-worn rubber. Through turn 14 we go. What a shot that is as they feel power through the final corner. Marc leads Alex by just over a 10th and a half. Alex not close enough to attack Marc then into the braking zone for the first corner. Sideways on that braking zone was Acosta in third.
Oh, 3-2 riders, and that's Gian Antonio at the back of the picture, the bike coming back onto the racetrack. He's crashed behind Marco Bezzecchi, who was trying to overtake Franco Morbidelli.
It's not Marc Marquez that's crashed out. Don't worry, Marc Marquez fans.
Here he is.
That's an incorrect graphic. He is still leading this Grand Prix.
This is up ahead of us, and the gap is starting to squeeze. Morbidelli tips it in, and Bezzecchi makes contact. Second day in a row that an Aprilia has made contact with Frankie Morbidelli, although I don't think Frankie's quite as to blame as he was yesterday. And Bezzecchi out of the Grand Prix, and just behind him, Gian Antonio, seeing it all unfolding. Look, he immediately folds his Ducati.
Turn 14. This is about to complete lap 3 of 24. Just a reminder there on screens that Acosta not only the only rider on the soft rear tyre in the top 3. As Alex goes side by side here with Marc, who's going to be the latest on the brakes into that first corner. Fair play to Alex. He really has toughed it out there, hasn't he, with Marc. Marc just let a glimpse to his right-hand side there and saw a face full of blue Grisine Ducati. Knew he couldn't turn in. So Alex has made his move early on here. He leads at the start of lap 4.
Well, so Alex does not want any hot air on his front tyre, and maybe thinks he's got the pace to pull clear and go away from Marc Marquez. So Alex Marquez then hits the front for the first time, then having been overtaken at the start. This is the start of lap 4 of 24. How long will Pedro Acosta sit behind Marc Marquez? Surely you feel Acosta's advantage on that soft rear tyre is going to be early on in the race, although Paul Ciabatti feels that he can manage that to the distance.
They tighten up now through turn 10, this top quartet. Alex, Marc, Acosta, Bastianini, a gap then of over 0.6 of a second back to Quartararo, who's still holding off Zarco and Marini. Agura in 8th spot, Bagnaia 9th, your top 10 rounded out by Binder. Ralph Fernandez, Miguel Oliveira 11th and 12th at the moment. Points for Martin Rins and Mir. Joan Mir's had to come through from 20th on the grid after his 3-place grid penalty. Back to Marc in 2nd place. In fact, Marc's coming under a bit of pressure here. Acosta once again just letting him know he's right there, showing him his front wheel down the hill into 5.
Pedro Acosta will not be shy of having a go at Marc Marquez. Did it in his first ever MotoGP start at the beginning of last year. Personal best though for Alex Marquez on that last lap, a 140.202 as the yellow flag's come up behind someone in the girl trap at the back of the picture into turn 7.
Yeah, somebody's gone down. There was a big cloud of dust, wasn't there? Oh, it's Binder. Brad Binder's crash. Oh, that was a nasty one. Couple of real heavy barrel rolls through the gravel trap there for Binder. He's really frustrated. That's another top 6 opportunity slipping through the grasp of the South African. Quartararo, no further action taken after reviewing the Morbidelli-Bezzecchi incident. We always felt that was going to be declared a racing incident. What was going to be potentially another controversial talking point involving Frankie. Just for reference, the Gian Antonio, after his early spill in the incident involving Morbidelli and Bezzecchi. He did remount, he's still circulating here in 22nd place. He's doing low 141s right now, as did you?
I think KTM's best hope here is Bastianini. He needs to get past Pedro Acosta, and he's now pulling out of the city. Of course, no power advantage. It's KTM versus KTM, and Bastianini's just going to park it on the inside of the 37. Can the 23 get it stopped just ahead of Pedro Acosta? Bastianini does, and he's now staring potentially at a first KTM podium. Could he improve on that yet? The yellow flags come out once again. It's no one in the top 4 who has gone down. You can see the Marquez brothers. It's Johan Zarco who's gone down at turn 10, out of 5th place.
Well, this long barren run without a top 10 in MotoGP continues. Just shows you you're on a tightrope here, aren't you? A knife edge with grip, front and rear. Zarco's probably going to tell you, I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't do anything different to any other lap.
Bastianini still matched the Marquez brothers up ahead of him. All of the top 3 did 140.2s. Really interested to see what Bastianini can do now. Now that he's clear of Acosta, can he close down on the Marquez brothers up ahead of him?
Look at this. As we said, it was a heck of a move. One hell of a move that by Bastianini. Look how hard he was grabbing the front brake on that KTM. The rear wheel was a good, half a foot in the air. KTM's hopes then now of victory here in Barcelona look like they're resting firmly on the shoulders of Bastianini there as they power now through turn 12. Once again, that gap has sort of remained constant around 3 to 4 tenths between Alex and Marc now for a good number of laps. We're coming now, though, aren't we, to the phase of the Grand Prix where everybody said lap 15 onwards is where we're going to find out who really has been able to manage the grip better. There's been somebody who's gone down late on in this 4th sector. It's not any of our top 4. They've already crossed the line. So too has Luca Marini.
Quartararo's across the line too. Acosta did get back into the 40s last lap, but he's still 6/10 laps slower than anyone else on track. It's Alex Rins, I think, who's gone down. Yeah, Rins, the 42, has gone down. I think he's also down at turn 10.
This has a little bit of a feeling of Argentina, doesn't it, at the early part of the season when Alex did so much of the leading, only to get picked off late on by the fast finishing Marc. Is history going to repeat itself here once again? Alex has to win this Grand Prix, otherwise Marc will get a Mazzano next weekend with his first match point.
Credit to both of them, they're both riding so well. There were the permutations, as you can see on your screens. They're still doing low 140s. They are now a second a lap quicker than everybody else on the racetrack. Incredible display this, as older brother pushes younger brother.
Yellow flags are out in the last couple of sectors.
Samadori on the
Lorenzo Samadori. So with about 3.5 laps to go here in Barcelona, and Alex Marquez looking so good for just his 2nd ever Grand Prix victory. This will be sweet revenge if he's able to bounce back from that sprint defeat yesterday. Jackson, thoughts?
Yeah, he hasn't been given the exact gap by the team just yet. The deep in conversation now whether to change it from Group 2 2.7, showing the gap to Enea Bastianini, which he got the last time around, to maybe start to show him what the gap is to Marc Marquez, because at the moment he doesn't know that he's been able to put a little bit of a gap into him over that last lap. In fact, they're changing it now for the first time this time around. Alex will know what the advantage is.
Yeah, I'll be telling him as quick as possible, because it's not just anybody that's on his case. It's a 6-time MotoGP World Champion. We just saw there, thanks very much for that info down in pit lane, Jack. We just saw there the back of your picture. Oh, somebody's gone down.
Yeah,
we can hear in our headsets, somebody has gone down.
Bastianini was in the back of the picture. It's Frankie Morbidelli, and I think he's at the same place that his sprint ended.
Cool, turn 10 has not been too kind to Frankie Morbidelli, has it, this weekend? It was right there in the sprint yesterday. Starts the final lap here. His home crowd are on their feet. He's going to get a raucous reception. 4.6 kilometres standing between Alex Marquez and one of the best days of his Grand Prix career. A Moto3 world champion, a Moto2 world champion, but winning in his backyard here in Barcelona, this would be something special.
Well, of course, winning at his home Grand Prix in Jerez earlier on in the year, the Spanish Grand Prix was special, but he is from very nearby here in Sevilla. So a victory at the Catalan Grand Prix will be extra sweet for Alex Marquez, and banishing the demons of what happened to him yesterday. We won't count our chickens yet. Alex Marquez certainly won't be.
Through turn 10 we go. Lightning surely won't strike twice. Is he going to make it safely through? Of course he is. And now he can cruise to a dream home success.
Well, it's been a proud streak for Marc Marquez, but I think if there's anyone that he'd be quite happy to lose that winning streak to, it would be his younger brother. He is just 2 corners away.
Marc Marquez is going to taste defeat in MotoGP for the first time since May the 25th. It's been some incredible winning run, but it's going to be ended by his brother. It has been a brilliant bounce back in Barcelona for Alex Marquez, who takes the victory here in the Catalonia Grand Prix. He wins by nearly 1.8 seconds ahead of brother Marc. It's a brilliant first KTM Grand Prix podium for Enea Bastianini.
It is redemption then for Alex Marquez as he spearheads a Marquez 1-2 at their home Grand Prix. Bastianini breaks his Tech 3 podium duck. Pedro Acosta, Fabio Quartararo inside the top 5. Ayagura returns to the top 6.